Morning. Morning, Khalees. Morning, ladies. How's everybody this cold morning? Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm tired. I'm glad it's Friday. So I'm looking over that green puzzle piece from yesterday, kind of that monstrosity, the similar study guide, and that's where we're going to start today.
So when I originally do this Schoology down, I should
Was Schoology down yesterday? Okay. We're going to look at it today. We're going to review it so you can make corrections, submit it, do whatever needs to be done today. It won't close until Monday. So there's still time. So good morning, everybody. If I missed you coming in, another happy Friday, which is fantastic. I am going to share my screen. I already have that homework from last night. I understand Schoology was down for a while yesterday. So if you didn't get a chance to submit it, you've got it here. So basically, what I did was I looked at the people who were able to submit and I put the success rate over here. We did the first 3 together. So you should have notes on how to set this up. You look at the key, you figure out what KL goes with. So KL goes with VW. So you put those together in a fraction. And then you look for KJ. KJ is the first and the last, so it goes with VU. So we put those together in a fraction, right? The 25 and the 4x minus 23 are in the same triangle, so they have to be next door neighbors. And the 20 and the 2x have to be next door neighbors because they're in the same triangle. You do the cross multiplying and you solve and you get x equals 17. It's asking me for x, so I'm done. The answer key was not correct for question number 2. So I know that at first I set this one up wrong yesterday, so you do have to be super careful about the key. PR goes with TR, so PR goes with TR. They have to be in the same fraction. And then QR and SR have to go in the same fraction. And then the two numbers have to go side by side, and two expressions have to go side by side. You should get 29, and then when you substitute back in for SR, you should get 57. So again, we reviewed all of that yesterday. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. With the word problems, and you will have one word problem today, make sure you just take all the pieces from the words and apply them to the right spots on the picture, and then set up your equation and solve it. Question number 4 is kind of a hard question to look at. So what I have for you is some notes on the side that hopefully will help. All of the pink sides have to be straight across, either in the numerator or the denominator. So what I mean is all of those in the numerator have to be A, B's, or C's, or all of these in the denominators have to be A, B's, and C's. So I've got BA down at the bottom, and I've got AC at the top, and I've got BC at the bottom. So are they all side by side? Are they all either in the numerator or the denominator? Or is one stuck in the wrong place? One's in the wrong place, so we can't use that one. Here, I've got AC. What I mean is that's this side, right? And I've got BC down here. That's this side. They all have to be either in the numerator or the denominator, so that one's not going to work either. So this is just kind of a shortcut to look at these problems. I've got AC in the denominator. I've got AB in the numerator, and then I've got BC in the denominator. That's not going to work because they all have to be straight across. This one is our answer because BA, AC, and BC are all in this pink triangle. And then if we go to look at the blue triangle, BA goes with RT. So BA goes with RT. That looks good. And AC goes with TC. AC goes with TC. That one looks good. And then RC and BC. RC and BC go together. So all the pink triangle sides are next door neighbors, and all the blue triangle sides are next door neighbors. This is how it has to be. Does that make a little bit of sense? Does it help in looking at those problems? I know we didn't practice a lot of this, but it is in the IXL. Okay. Stop me at any point, guys, okay? Let me try to open the chat up. So if I'm going too fast, if you have a question, if it doesn't make sense, if you think I had like some kind of brain fart and I'm just doing something crazy, let me know, okay? Anytime you see the word proportion, or anytime you see the word similar, you should think proportion. Think about one triangle being one color and the other triangle being the other color. I always do small over large. It just makes it so I don't have to make any decisions. So all I have to do is in the pink triangle, find the small side and find the large side, put them into a fraction. And then I go over to my other triangle, which I imagine in my head is blue if I can't write on my screen, 21 divided by 39.2. You can either set these equal and do the butterfly method, or you can just divide them and see what you get. So let's divide them. Choose one fraction. I'm going to do 15 divided by 28, and I get 0.53. 0.53. You guys do 21 divided by 39.2, and what do you get?
0.5.
Awesome. So do they match? Yeah, they're going to equal. So what do I have in this pair of sides over here? These two sides, the big sides. That's a side, right? And these two small sides, I've got another side. And then can I mark these vertical angles? You can always mark vertical angles. So what's my answer here? Side angle side. Boom. Okay. Alexis, we're just reviewing the Similarity study guide from yesterday. I know Schoology was down, so some people weren't able to submit it. So this is kind of our test review. And I'll post this video as soon as we're done with it so you have access to it as well. So you can reference it during the test. I really want you to do that, okay? These are all open note tests. You go look at your YouTube videos, go look at your Pear Decks, go look at your digital notebook, like use your resources. What proves the triangle's similar? So here we don't have any sides. All we have is angles. So what is our missing blue angle? What's this angle here at D? Can we calculate that? You can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. It is 95. And then can we find the missing pink angle up at the top here? Okay, so think about this pink triangle. I've got A to C to B and back to A. If the blue triangle and the pink triangle sit on top of each other right there, is that blue angle also the pink angle? Yeah. Does that make sense? So that's what we call a reflexive angle. These two angles are like sitting on top of each other. It's like if I put my cell phone on top of my calculator, right? These two angles are sitting on top of each other. They're both going to be exactly the same. It's weird that my cell phone is almost as big as my calculator. That's weird. 35? I think so. So how many of those angles match? Did the 95 and the 98 match? No, they don't. So I can't call that an angle pair. Did the 38 and the 35 match? Nope. So I can't call that an angle pair. Does the 47 and the 47 match? Yeah. So I have one angle pair. So I've got one angle, but not the other. I don't have any sides, so it's definitely not that. I don't have any sides, so it's definitely not that. So I think I've got to choose D because I don't have enough angles that match. Every time you have like the angle, that's one set of angles and then another set of angles. One pair from each triangle. Does that make sense a little bit? So let's look at 7. This one makes me absolutely crazy because it is marked bizarrely, right? But if I still do my small over large, I got an unstable internet connection. If I lose you guys, let me know, okay? I'm going to always look for the small side first. So I marked those in what color? Which ones are the small sides in both triangles? The purple, right? So I've got a small side here and I've got a small side here. So I'm going to do my small triangle on top, my big triangle on the bottom. And then what color is my medium side? So again, I'm going to keep my triangles together. So the 8 and the 9 are in the same triangle. So I'm going to put the 9 on the top and the 11.25 on the bottom. And that leaves my blue for my large sides, right? We just divide straight down and test all the decimals. So 8 divided by 10 is 0.8. And 9 divided by 11.25. You guys are probably faster than me, especially because I'm doing all kinds of crazy things with my calculator this morning. Did you get 0.8? And then what's 12 divided by 15? Don't wait for me to do all the work. Make sure you're checking it too. 0.08. Because all of my fractions match, that means that I've got side, side, side. Every time you have a ratio and another ratio and another ratio, and they all equal, that's giving you side, side, side. For every ratio, every pair of sides, you have one set of sides. Yes, no, maybe so? Am I going too fast?
No.
Okay. I know it's only 7:30 in the morning on a Friday, so again, we've got the word similar. So automatically we think proportion. There's no sides to put in proportions. But we do have these little baby arrows that are just barely visible. That's why I made them bigger. So what do you do with those arrows? What angles can I mark with those arrows?
Alternate interior.
Yes, the alternate interior. So F goes with what?
P.
P, beautiful. And then if I go the other direction, let me get a color that shows up a little bit better. If I go the other direction, what angle goes with S? So what should I circle down in my choices? A, B, C, or D?
A.
Boom. Parallel lines give you alternate interior angles, sometimes corresponding angles, but mostly alternate interior. That Z is the most important one. What would we do for number 9? So how do I set that up? What number should I start with? 48, 44, 32, or 30?
30.
I like 30. So let me make sure my color coding is good. What do I put under the 30?
32.
And then what about my purple fraction? What should go over there?
44.
44. Why should 44 be on the top? Yes, ma'am. Which leaves the 48 over here. And then what do I do? You can. So we've been dividing. Let's keep dividing. So 30 divided by 32 is
0.937.
Sweet. And then did anybody do the 44 divided by 48 yet?
It's 0.916.
Do they match?
No.
So what do I have to put? Not congruent, not similar. Yes. We're getting better, I feel like. What do I do for number 10? So think about this blue triangle first. These are two triangles sitting on top of each other, and these are the hardest ones to look at. So think about like a layer cake. So I've got a big triangle with a little triangle sitting on top of it, almost like a wedding cake. So in the blue triangle, what number goes first, the 32 or the 45? 32. And then in the next part, you've got some choices, and that's what makes it hard. You can do this whole side, which would be 40. That's how I like to do it, because sometimes I make mistakes if I use the 8 and the 9. And you can use this whole side, which would be 40, 54. Or you can just use these little parts. So either one will work, but sometimes if you use the parts, it'll get you in trouble in other problems. So I like to take that extra step to add them. But I'm going to make another one over here to make sure that we know that we can use the 8 and the 9 in this problem. So divide all those into decimals and see what you get. Did I do that right? That's what I got too. Those two should be. But I think because they all don't match, what do I have to do? Say not similar. Okay. If it worked, then these two numbers would be the same. Actually, all three numbers would be the same. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because it's 8, we could round it and say 9. That would be more accurate. Absolutely. What would we do for number 11? This is a lot of work. It's not really hard work, it's just a lot. So yeah, the easiest thing to do is just make all of your ratios and find the decimals, right? So it doesn't matter if we do small over large or large over small, but we're ultimately going to compare all the decimals. So let's just keep doing what we've been doing. 11 over 19 and 3.3 over 3.8 and 5.5 over 11.4 and 4.5 over 9.5 and 5.5 over 9.5. And you just have to find all the decimals. So 11 divided by 19 is our goal, right? So we want 0.5789. That's our goal. Which ones of the other four match that? Yeah, I noticed that when I was going through here. I need to change that. I just didn't have time to do that this morning. So do any of them match that decimal? Or can I eliminate any of them? It's this one? The one next to it? This one? Sweet. That's what I got too. So that is answer choice C, right? So anytime you're given two sides, just find the decimal equivalent to small over large and compare the decimals. This one is a little tougher. You really had to use the key to figure out which ones worked, and there was no X, Y, and Z marked. So I think this is a crazy question. I'm super impressed that almost 60% of you got it right. So I kind of matched up the 10 and the 5. So 5 over 10. And then 8 over X. 8 over X. For this one, when you're finding the missing side, you do need to cross multiply. So here we're going to solve this proportion. 10 times 8 is 80 equals 5x. So x equals, is that 16? Okay. So I just picked two sides and then set up the proportion. If I decided I wanted to find ST, we could make that Y. Then I could go 5 over 10. I'm still just choosing my small sides, right? And then I go 9 over Y. 9 over Y. And we could cross multiply here. And we would get 5Y equals 90. So Y equals 18. So ST would have to equal, is it, it's two answers. Tricky, tricky. So you did have to find both. I love it. So if you see that, 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 2 is 16. 9 times 2 is 18. Then it becomes a dilation with a scale factor of 2. You just multiply everything by 2, and that 100% works if you notice that. And we kind of also know that the 9 has to go with the 18 because it's across from those angles that are marked congruent. So if the 5 goes with the 10 and the 9 goes with the 18, then the 8 must go with this other side over here. There was a lot of kind of thinking through that one. In answer choice A, if you're looking for similar angles, you've got to figure out which angles are missing, right? So even though this does not look similar, if I do the math, I've got a 50 angle at the top and a 40 angle at the bottom. And I've got a 40 angle on the left, which means I have to have a 50 angle over here. Do all of those angles match? Yes. So I have to check that. This is not drawn to scale. Both the Geometry SOL and the SAT and the ACT, for that matter, give you all kinds of geometry problems that are not drawn to scale because they don't want you using reasonableness. They want you to use math, which is stupid because in real life, reasonableness is super important. So just be careful about those tricky problems that are not drawn to scale. In B, you're going to make a proportion. So 5 over 6 equals 5 over 6. Or if you want to be super careful, like I do 10 over 12. 10 over 12. Notice that again, this is that scale factor. So 5 times 2 is 10 and 6 times 2 is 12. Those are going to work. So that one's going to work too. What do I get from parallel lines? Alternate interior angle. So if I make that Z, I've got an angle down here and an angle up here. And then if I go get another color, I can get an angle at the bottom and an angle at the top. And I can also do these reflexive angles, right? Is that enough to say that they're similar? It sure is. So I've got A is checked, B is checked, and C is checked. For this last one, I've got to do proportion, right? So what proportion can I do? 12 over which one? So 12 and 9. Which one goes on the top? Which one's smaller? I have a blue triangle on the left, right? So the blue triangle is going to be small over large, 4 over 9. And then I've got a pink triangle on the right. Oh, but we're doing sides, right? No, you're good. So I've got a side that's 4 and a side that's 9. And this 9s are where they meet. So I've got a blue side that's 9 next to a pink side that's 9. So because the blue side, the blue vertical side is 9, then the pink vertical side is 9. So you got to remember reflexive sides. And that's why it's confusing. So when we're making proportions, we need all sides. No angles. That's an important thing to remember. I don't know what I was writing there. Angles. So does that proportion work? It does not. That one does not work. 14 is a review. So how do I set that up? Are those congruent or are they equal to 180? What's their relationship, these two angles? They are equal to 180 because they are same side interior, right? If the alternate interiors make a Z, the same side make a U. You kind of see the U, or if it was the other way, it would be like a C. It's like a backwards C. So those you have to set up to 180. How do I find the slope on a line like this? What's the slope of this line? Do you make a slope triangle to two good points? So this is up 5 and right 10. So what's that slope? 1/2. So if I want a perpendicular slope, what's the perpendicular slope of 1/2? -2. So here I've got to find the slopes. Is that a positive slope or a negative slope? If it's that's positive, so it's not it. Is this positive or negative? That's also positive. It's going up and to the right. So if it's going up and to the right, that's positive. Now I've got my negative slopes. Which one of these is the -2 slope? This one's -10/5, and this one's -5/10. C or D, what do we think? So if I still do rise over run, it's going to be -2/5 or -10/5, which reduces to -2. This one's going to be -5/10, which reduces to -1/2. My goal was -2, and so kind of a lot of scrolling in this question, but my goal was -2 because what I was given was this. You got to make sure you read the directions. Okay. If I give you 3 numbers, right? If I give you 3 sides and I ask you, is it a triangle? You need to do small plus medium is bigger than large. Small plus medium is bigger than large. Do we need to go through those and double check? We're just going to do 9 plus 12. Is that bigger than 21?
No.
It is not. It's equal to 21. What about 11 plus 7? Is that bigger than 20?
No.
What about 8 plus 3? Is that bigger than 9? Yep. How about 6 plus 4? Mm-hmm. 9.4 and 6.2, is that bigger than 10.1? Mm-hmm. 7.2 plus 1.3, is that bigger than 8.5?
No.
Okay, if I give you 3 sides, small plus medium is bigger than big. It can't equal, it has to be bigger. We're getting better and better at questions like 17. This is going to be super important to be able to find the opposite side in our next unit. So please, please, please imagine those lines, draw the diagonals. So if 9 is the smallest side, then B is the smallest angle. And then if 10 is the medium side, then C is the medium angle. And if 16 is the largest side, then D is the largest angle. You're just going across the middle of the triangle to the opposite side or the opposite corner. Notice that BD, side BD, is opposite, angle C. So if I have segment BD, the angle opposite it is the other letter. Sometimes that helps a little bit. Question 18 is like question 14. What's that relationship? Perfect. Formula for midpoint. What are my 2 points that I'm using? -4, 5, and 2, -4. Is that what I heard you say? So we're going to take those x's. Negative 4 plus 2 divided by 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And then I'm going to take my y's. 5 plus negative 4 divided by 2. And that is negative 1/2. So I'm going to plot that. Negative 1, negative 1/2. Oh, is that a positive 1/2? That's a positive 1/2. Positive 1/2. Negative 1, positive 1/2. So that's where I catch all my little integer errors, is by double checking that. Okay. So what do I have marked here? What's marked in red? Parallel lines. What do I get from parallel lines? So I've got alternate angles. So I've got an angle. And then what's marked in pink? Congruent marks. So that gives me sides. So JK is congruent to LM. My handwriting is getting crazy today. What else can I mark in blue? Because I can always mark it in blue if two things are smushed next to each other. So I've got this side right here, right? That reflexive side. So is angle side side a thing? So this is what makes this one hard. So what else can I mark? So I've marked the angles, right? I've marked the sides. Can I mark anything else?
Can you do the angles the other way, like in refractive speed?
I can do the angles the other way. So I can do the angles this way and get this red angle here. So now I've got a red angle. If I'm just looking at the top triangle, the JKL triangle, I've got a red angle and that reflexive side and then a blue angle. So this becomes angle, side, angle. Because in that top triangle, I've got an angle and a side and another angle. And those are hard to see, especially with those parallel lines. You got to take your time. What's marked here?
The side.
I've got a pair of sides, right, in pink. So A, B, and C, D. And then what else?
Other side.
We got another set of sides in blue. And then what's the third thing I can do? Because I can always do it when two triangles are smushed together. The reflexive side. So this is definitely going to be side, side, side. The question is, what does A go with? Does A go with C or A? And that's the hard part. So if I go across the blue, I go A to D to C. If I'm going A, B, C, I'm going across the pink and then the blue. So I got to turn these arrows around and go the other direction. Because if I go A, B, C, I'm going pink line, then blue line, the 2 tick mark, and then the 1 tick mark. So I've got to go the 2 tick mark to the 1 tick mark. So this is C, D, A. And that just takes a lot of practice, which we unfortunately don't have the time for. These are all going to be on the test today, just matching without this key. So you don't have to worry about this on the test today. You just have to be able to identify what's marked. So what's marked in the next triangle? What did I mark in blue?
Angles.
Mm-hmm. And we can say they're vertical angles, right? What did I mark in red?
I can't see which one's red, but you also marked a 90-degree angle.
I did. So those are red. So those are my sides. And that was marked in the picture. And then I definitely have a 90-degree angle, right? An angle that's 90 degrees. So what do we think this is? Is it side, 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 angle, angle, side, angle, 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 side, or hypotenuse leg?
Angle, side,
Angle, side, angle. So when you get to these, just look at what's marked. What's marked here? Say that again. On this one? So M goes with A. So M goes with A. And B goes with G. B goes with G. And H goes with H because they're vertical. So GMH goes with BAH. I can't hear you. So blank one asks you what goes with GMH. So what goes with G? You're making a key there. G goes with B. And M is a 90-degree angle, so M goes with what? A. And then H is vertical, so H goes with H. And then the theorem is angle side angle. I went too fast. I'm sorry. I'm glad you stopped me. So we'll go more slowly on this one. What does C go with? A on the other side. It's like a line of reflection. And then D is a right angle on the left, and D is a right angle on the right. And then B is split in half. It's bisected up at the top. So CDB goes with ADB. So what's marked?
right triangle.
A right triangle, absolutely. So we've got a 90-degree. That's an angle. What else is marked? 90-degree, that's an angle. And then I've got a reflexive side. So BD is a reflexive side, right? And then I've got another side, BC is another side. Is angle side a thing?
No.
It is not. However, this is a right triangle. So what's another word for this side, CB? Hypotenuse, right? So if the red sides are hypotenuse, then what's the reflexive side called? You have two of them below your waist. Legs. So this one, my friends, is hypotenuse leg. So if you're given the hypotenuse and you're given the leg, then you can do hypotenuse leg. And it's going to be A, D, B. What would we write here?
This one confused me a lot.
Okay, so let's start with the key. What does A go with? I agree. What does B go with? D. And then D must go with B. And then what's marked? What's marked in blue? A side or an angle? So the blue is where they get smushed together. So that's a reflexive side. And then B is marked, right? B and D, those are angles because of the parallel lines, or because they're just marked, right? They're just marked, alternate interior. And then I've got a red set of sides. So that's the AB equals CD. So what answer choice did we just get between all of those things? So it's got to be CDB and side angle side. Notice we're back in congruent, so things are going to be equal, right? When we have just the squiggle, it's similar. When we have the congruent with the equal sign, it's equal. So I'm looking for the length of PR. That's my question. So this triangle has been bisected. QS is bisecting PR. So PS equals SR. So we solve that equation. Subtract the 2x and we get 2x. Subtract the 2 and we get 8. So x equals 4. But don't stop there because remember we're asked for PR. So I've got to substitute in the 4 here. So 4 times 4 plus 2. And then I got to substitute it into the next one too. 2 times 4 plus 10, right? We're going to do that whole thing. So 8 plus 2 plus 8 plus 10. Is that 26? It should be 36. 10, 10, 20. Oh, I did something crazy because I feel like this is actually 28. Oh, because 4 times 4 is not 8, it's 16. Hello. And that is definitely going to be 36. Number 26, there's a lot of ways to look at this. The way I look at it is like a reflection. So when you reflect, when you translate, when you move all those triangles around the coordinate plane, except for dilating, they're going to be congruent. So can I reflect the pink triangle onto the blue triangle and have it be exactly the same? And can I reflect the red triangle onto the blue triangle and have it be exactly the same? I think you can reflect all of them. So if you see that, then this becomes really easy. All 3 are congruent. If you don't see that, then you need to find some side lengths. So you need to calculate this side and see that they're exactly the same. And you need to calculate the distance for this side and see that they're exactly the same. This becomes what I call a time-sucking question because it just takes a lot of time. Right? We don't like questions like that. So try to think about easier ways to do them. We've got 2 questions left, and then I'm going to give you your test. So ask the questions that you need to ask. The one above? What was the answer choice? All 3 are equal. Yep. 27. I've got all of this stuff marked in pink, right? So I looked at what was given to me. I marked it, and then I came down here. And what answer choice do I give for a reason for that? Given. Those are my favorite. And then I got some stuff in blue that I can always mark. Why can I mark that? Reflexive. Gotta love those too. Now, what's marked up in my triangle? That's what I put too. Side, side, side. All you have up here is sides that are marked. Okay. What about this one? I've got something pink. Why can I mark that pink thing? Reflexive. So I've got reflexive property and I've got reflexive property. Oh, and I've got reflexive property and I've got reflexive property. So I'm thinking it's probably A or D. I'm not thinking that that goes at the end, but let's see what else we come up with. Why can I mark BCA and DAC? Because it was given. BCA, it was given. So which one's better if I have to choose? A. Why is A better? Exactly. Gosh, I didn't even realize how tricky this question was until just now. Yep. So the order matters again. So whatever you're given first, you want to go first, and whatever is given second, you want to go second.